She was the youngest CEO in the city. Powerful, admired, unstoppable. Until one tragic night left her in a wheelchair, fighting not only for her future but for her will to live. 2 years later, broken by loneliness, she agrees to one blind date. A night she thought would only remind her of everything she lost. But when the wrong man walks in, carrying nothing but grease, stained hands and a clumsy bouquet, her story takes a turn no one saw coming. What started as a blind date disaster soon became the spark she never knew she needed. But the world wasn't ready to see a powerful CEO fall for a humble mechanic. With whispers of doubt, corporate betrayal, and a scandal that could destroy everything she built, Sophia must decide hide behind her fear or rise stronger than ever. And at her side, a man who refuses to walk away, even when everyone else already did. They say love comes when you least expect it. But for Sophia Grant, love had become nothing more than a forgotten word. Once known as the youngest and most powerful CEO in the city's tech empire, her life had turned into an endless routine of boardrooms, quiet hospital visits, and a silent home where her wheelchair stood as the constant reminder of the accident that had taken her ability to walk. 2 years ago, she was unstoppable. Sharp mind, unmatched drive, and elegance that made her admired by many and envied by more. Then, in one cruel night, a car crash shattered her world. Doctors saved her life, but her spine was gone beyond repair. Since then, she hadn't just lost the strength in her legs, she had lost the sparkle in her eyes, the rhythm in her laughter, and the courage to believe anyone would look at her without pity. Her best friend, Clara, was the only one who still believed Sophia deserved more than corporate victories and lonely nights. "You need to live again, Sophie," Clara urged one afternoon. "Just meet someone. Not for love, not for romance. Just for dinner. Just to remember what it feels like to be alive again." Sophia resisted, but Clara was stubborn. Against her better judgment, Sophia agreed to one blind date at a cozy little restaurant downtown. That night, nerves battled with her pride. She wore a soft navy dress, simple yet graceful, letting her natural beauty shine. As her driver helped her into the restaurant, she told herself she'd stay an hour, smile politely, then leave. But as soon as she entered, her heart sank. Her date, the man Clara had chosen, was nowhere to be seen. Minutes turned into half an hour. She sat there, feeling the stares, the whispers. Some eyes were curious, others filled with pity. And pity was the one thing she hated most. Just as she decided to leave, the door opened. But it wasn't her date. It was a man in a grease-stained shirt, rough hands, and a confident yet humble stride. He clearly didn't belong in the elegant restaurant, yet there he was, holding a bouquet of wildflowers. Clumsy, uneven, but real. His eyes met hers, and something in his expression wasn't pity. It was surprise and then, a smile. "Are you Sophia?" he asked, slightly out of breath. Confused, she nodded. He chuckled nervously. "I'm Mark. Your date couldn't make it. He paid me to deliver these flowers to you. But when I saw you sitting here alone, I couldn't just drop them and walk away." Sophia blinked. "You're the delivery guy." He smirked. "Not exactly. I'm a mechanic. I fix broken cars. But tonight, maybe I was supposed to meet you instead." For the first time in months, Sophia felt something strange stir in her chest. Not anger, not disappointment. Something warmer. She didn't know whether to laugh or roll her eyes, but she let him sit. That night, Mark didn't ask about her wheelchair. He didn't treat her like glass. Instead, he made her laugh. Real laughter, the kind that left her cheeks aching and her heart oddly light. He told stories of stubborn engines, of cars that people gave up on, and how he never stopped until they roared back to life. "Machines break," he said. "But that doesn't mean they're useless. Sometimes, they just need someone to believe they can run again." Sophia looked at him, silently wondering if he was still talking about cars. Days turned into weeks. And what started as a blind date disaster turned into something Sophia couldn't ignore. Mark would show up at her office just to bring her coffee, or at her home to fix things she didn't even know were broken. He was rough around the edges, a man who worked with his hands. Yet he treated her with a gentleness that no one else dared. But not everyone approved. Her board of directors whispered about her reckless distraction. Investors questioned if their CEO was losing focus. Even Clara worried, asking, "Sophie, are you sure? He's a mechanic. You're you." Sophia's doubts grew. Could she really let herself feel something for a man who came from a world so far from hers? Wouldn't he eventually see her wheelchair and walk away, just like others had? One night, after a brutal meeting where she was told to be realistic about her personal life, Sophia broke down. She told Mark everything. The loneliness, the shame, the fear that no one could love her like this. Mark listened in silence, then knelt in front of her chair, taking her hands into his rough, oil-stained ones. "Sophia, you're not broken. You're extraordinary. You see limits. I see strength. Do you know what I fix every day? Engines people give up on. I don't walk away from things worth saving. And you." His voice cracked slightly. "You're the most worth it person I've ever met." A tears welled in her eyes. For the first time, someone wasn't trying to fix her. He was just seeing her. Their bond deepened, but the real test came weeks later, when Sophia's company faced a major scandal. A competitor spread lies about her ability to lead, claiming her condition made her unfit for the demands of a CEO. The media tore her apart. Shareholders panicked. She stood at the edge of losing everything she had built. Sophia almost gave in. But then she remembered Mark's words, "Machines break, but that doesn't mean they're useless." With a fierce resolve, she called a press conference. Rolling onto the stage, she looked straight into the cameras and said, "Yes, I am paralyzed. But paralysis doesn't stop my mind, my vision, or my will to lead. If strength is measured only by walking, then perhaps the world is more disabled than I am." The room fell silent. Then, applause erupted. Mark stood at the back, eyes shining with pride. That night, Sophia returned home exhausted but victorious. Mark was waiting with his clumsy bouquet of wildflowers again. She laughed through tears, and he leaned closer, whispering, "See? You smiled again. And I didn't even fix an engine this time." Well, for the first time in years, Sophia believed in love. Not the perfect fairy tale kind, but the kind that comes from two broken people choosing to be whole together. And as she looked at Mark, she realized the blind date that was never supposed to happen had just given her a reason to live again. Sometimes life sends the wrong person to the right place, at the right time. Sometimes, what feels like a disaster is the beginning of healing. And sometimes, when you think you'll never smile again, someone walks in. Not to fix you, but to remind you that you were never broken in the first place.